welcome to the Osceola High School District Board meeting for Tuesday, June 25th. Good evening and welcome to the Osceola County School Board meeting for Tuesday, June 25th. Tonight we will have a moment of silence by Pastora Rudy Reyes from Nacion Church in Kissimmee. The Pledge of Allegiance by Shelby Pecan, Principal of Pleasant Hill Elementary, young students. The national anthem will be via our television since we have students out for summer. Our mission statement read by Ms. Allison Doe, Director of School Transformation, and interpretation services by Valerie Martinez, our Executive Director of Multicultural. If you will now stand with me.
Other than a moment of silence, I want to say thank you to everyone that is here, and also just say at the end of the day, we thank God for allowing us to be here today. And I ask for Him to give us the wisdom, to give us the strength to continue doing what you guys are here to do today. Thank you for doing the job. Thank you for doing everything. And yes, we bow and we give a moment of silence. Thank you.
You can do a prayer.
You can do the prayer. We can do the prayer. Okay.
Yes.
Father, thank you for this time, for this moment that you have allowed us to be here. Father, I thank you for every leader that is here tonight, that has come together to make sure that we are doing the job that we're supposed to do. Father, I thank you for the heart, for the passion of everyone that is here in this room. Father God, I thank you for all this time that you have allowed us to discuss and come together for the well-being of our community. I ask for you to give us the wisdom, to give us the strength to continue doing what you have asked us to do from the beginning of times, and is to take government in charge of what you have given us and place in our hands. And I thank you for this moment because we're doing what you have asked, and that is to lead, and that is to take control of what you have placed in our hands. Thank you for the Osceola County, for the great leaders that we have. And I continue to ask for wisdom that we make the right decisions for the ones that cannot speak, which is our generations and our future generations. Thank you. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. The mission statement, inspiring all learners to reach their highest potential as responsible, productive citizens.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Martinez, and I am here to provide education services in Spanish. Mi nombre es la señora Valerie Martinez y estoy aquí para proveer servicios de interpretación en español.
At this time, we have positive comments by the board and Dr. Shanoff. Dr. Shanoff, I'll let you go first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Two items that I want to highlight. First is, and this is a group of individuals that rarely get any credit. Certainly they get to deal with a lot of bad news, but our maintenance department has worked extremely hard this year to bring in the number of work orders that exceed the normal time. Now, when work orders exceed 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, a lot of times it has to do with part availability. In some cases, it has to do with labor availability. And in other cases, it just has to do with being more efficient. I want to give Mr. Noble and his team, the maintenance team, some kudos here, because we strive for progress, not perfection. And the progress for our work orders that are over 60 days old has reduced by 53% from 700 to 327. And that is a running total. And I have to say that that is something that we should be proud of. And as we work on the strategic plan and work specifically through, make some breakthroughs to get to some KPIs that need to be measured, certainly work order completion and the timeliness of those work orders is something that we want to focus on. So I'd like to elevate that. The other piece of great news that I would like to share is that I had the opportunity to introduce, because I did not do the presentation, I had the privilege to introduce to the AVID board last week at their conference at the JW Marriott, three of our outstanding AVID folks. Nancy Bajenko is one of our district directors for AVID. She works in the secondary space. Maylin Garcia is an AVID teacher at Horizon, and Besaida Morales Rivera is one of our teachers in multicultural. They presented about AVID Excel and AVID Emerge programs, focusing on AVID immersion for our ELL students and the success that our ELL students have had in AVID Excel and AVID Emerge. We are definitely blazing a trail with ELL in AVID, and we are getting a lot of attention for the work that's been done. And I just want to say that the presentation was done beautifully. I was just there to introduce them, and they deserve all the credit. And I want to thank them and all the AVID teachers that work throughout our county in really changing the trajectory for a lot of our kids. Those that went through the AVID program since the first possible point, that just graduated, all of them got at least one college acceptance, which I think speaks to the success of the AVID program in our district. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Melendez.
Thank you. I just want to say to everyone, just hope you're enjoying your summer. But then I went to a school and I realized how many employees are actually still working. And I'm like, holy moly, because we see some folks on Facebook enjoying their trips to Greece and Rome and everything like that. And there's other folks that are still chugging along. So I just want to acknowledge the employees that dedicate their time to the summer and make sure that things are set up for the following year, because people think it's magic. Everyone goes away and magically it opens back up. It doesn't happen that way. There's a lot of master scheduling. There's a lot of transient students that are coming from out of county, out of country sometimes. And so we have to deal with that massive logistics of getting the school year ready. And one of that, or two of those things, are the new teacher orientations. Every school year, we have brand new teachers, a new crop of folks that are coming into the district. And so we have to prepare for that. And so I want to thank all the staff that does a lot of the legwork behind the scenes to make sure that those orientations are set up properly and to make sure those standards are set from the very beginning. And the same thing with the welcome back for the admin. We have professional development, and so a lot of folks, even though they may not be home or they might be, not at the school, they got to do a lot of courses to keep their certifications going. And I realize that the state of Florida gives a lot of stuff onto these teachers, and a lot of certificates, a lot of endorsements, a lot of things that have to get caught up. And so I just really want to thank you guys for giving up a part of your summer to be able to dedicate to making sure our students have the best and brightest, certified teachers certified admin, certified anything that you do in this district to make sure that we're achieving our full goal. But with that in mind, we had the opportunity as well to evaluate our new superintendent, our new attorney. It's the first time that they've come in, and so it's like, and it was fun to actually sit down and come up with those goals. And as you know, that we're coming up with a new strategic plan with KPIs, as the superintendent alluded to earlier, where we're going to start measuring a little more progress. And I appreciate the fact that the attorney and the superintendent and staff are both willing to hold themselves accountable to that standard. It's not just, okay, do we feel like you're doing a good job? No, we're gonna start actually measuring it and seeing exactly and quantifying the level of job that you do. It's the same way that we do with our teachers. They have to do reviews all the time. So it's nice to see that the role model and the leadership from the top is exuding that to the bottom. And so I'm excited in what the new school year brings out. And so, just want to make sure you guys get refreshed, that those need to get recharged. Those on 11-month contracts, when you do get your time off, enjoy your time off as well. Because, just really getting started on a new school year with some new plans is really going to get the students motivated. So they see you happy, they're going to be happy to come to school as well.
Mr. Arguello?
Yeah, I just would like to reiterate a thanks to all the employees of the district who are working through the summer, that don't get the summers off. I appreciate you people like Tanya and all the secretaries and all the office people here, aside from the ones that have already been mentioned. I appreciate all the diligence and hard work done in the summer. I'm glad everybody's gone. And I'd like to give a quick plug, town hall meeting in St. Cloud at Michigan Avenue Elementary on Saturday from 12 to 3 for all the community. And that's all. Thank you.
If I can save my positive comments until presentations, please.
I just want to almost reiterate what my fellow board members said about the summer. Last week I was here and I got to meet and get to know a little bit better some of our new leadership staff that has joined Dr. Shanoff's team. We talk about relationship building at our schools amongst our administrators and our teachers and our students, and so it was important to me to sit down and have some time with them. And at the end of it, Dr. Clayton and some of the staff were heading off to Avid because Avid was taking place, and it really is exciting to see that we have teachers that take their time during the summer and they invest it back into themselves and for their students and for their schools. So I just am very appreciative of those who are doing things like that in order to make sure that you are the best teacher and the best support person at your school come August of this year. With that, we are on to our appointments. Dr. Shanoff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have many appointments tonight, as we typically do in the summertime. So very excited about these. The first will be to appoint Amy Miller as the new principal at Hickory Tree Elementary School. Amy Miller has held the following positions: teacher at Kissimmee Elementary and Poinciana Academy of Fine Arts, math and science instructional coach at Kissimmee Elementary, and assistant principal at Canoe Creek K-8. She received her bachelor's degree in elementary education from SUNY Fredonia and a master's degree in education leadership from American College of Education.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Melendez, a second by Mr. Arguello. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you. I am deeply honored and humbled to accept this position as the principal of Hickory Tree Elementary. This moment would not be possible without so many people. First, thank you, Dr. Shanoff, for believing in me. The board, thank you. And many district mentors that I've had along the way, Dr. Allen, Michelle Henninger, Christy Ray, Dr. Reyes, and there's been so many more. I can't name them all or I'll be here all day. Next, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to my family, my husband, my children, Barb, my parents, including my amazing mother-in-law. Thank you for your endless patience, love, and encouragement. You have been my rock and have always been my biggest fans. I could not have done this without you guys. A very special thank you to Mr. Nuez, my mentor whose guidance has been instrumental in shaping my leadership over the past 15 years. You have always pushed me to do more and better, and I am forever grateful for that. Last but certainly not least, to the incredible teachers, staff, and students that I have had the privilege to work with, you have profoundly impacted my growth and leadership. You are a constant source of inspiration to me. It is with sadness that I bid farewell to my CCKA family, who has been an integral part in my career. However, I am equally excited and eager to join my new school family at Hickory Tree as we embark on this new journey together. Thank you.
Our next administrative appointment isn't present tonight. They had a previously scheduled vacation that I insisted that they not change. Because things are about to get busy for them when they get back. So they will need this vacation. And that is for Mark Hernandez as the next principal at Den John Middle School. Mark Hernandez has held the following positions: teacher and testing coordinator at International High School at Eastside Memorial in Texas, assistant principal of Liberal Arts and Science Academy High School in Texas, assistant principal at Parkway Middle, assistant principal at Liberty High, assistant principal at Osceola High. He received a bachelor's degree in kinesiology and biomechanics, and a bachelor's degree in history and clinical teaching from the University of Texas at Austin, and a master's degree in educational leadership from Texas State University.
Motion to approve this. I just have a comment. Since he's not here to make a speech for himself, this is a super hardworking guy. Anybody who knows Mark, this guy runs from end to end of campus all day long, contributing to everywhere he can. This is just to watch him work. This is a really good one. I'm super proud of him. Congratulations, Mark. You really deserve this. I can't wait to see what you do at Den John. I'll motion to approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Arguello, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations, Principal Hernandez.
And if it's okay with the board, on the 16th, Mr. Hernandez would like to come in and be able to just express his gratitude for his support. Thank you. The next appointment is for Jade Wright as the new assistant principal at Pleasant Hill Elementary. Jade Wright has held the following positions: teacher at Sunblaze Elementary, teacher at McNabb Elementary, Skyward Resource Teacher at the Ronald Blocker Educational Leadership Center for Orange County Public Schools, and Literacy Coach at Kissimmee Elementary. She received her bachelor's degree in early childhood education and a master's degree in e-learning, instructional design and technology from the University of Central Florida, and a master's degree in educational leadership from American College of Education.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Castillo, second by Mr. Arguello. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I want to first thank God for his guidance and blessings that led to this moment. Thank you to the board members, Dr. Shanoff, Dr. Reyes, Dr. Allen, Dr. Evans, Ms. Henninger, Ms. Ray. Thank you for the opportunity and for believing in me. I want to thank my husband, Lamar, who has been my backbone since my early college days until now. Thank you for always speaking positive words into me. Thanks to my two little boys, JR and Josiah, who've been along for the ride and support me in every way. You're both my daily motivation. Thank you to my mom, Patricia, who's been my cheerleader since day one and always believed in me. Thank you to my siblings, Mercedes, Crystal, and Prince, for being a pillar of support in my life and always letting me be the teacher when we play school. Thank you to my friends and family members who are watching right now for your unwavering love and support throughout the years. Last but not least, I want to thank my amazing colleagues and mentors who have become family. Mr. DeWright, Mrs. Terry, Mr. Kane, Ms. Henson, Ziegler, and Reyes. Thank you for not only being complete rock stars at what you do, but for laughing and making memories with me along the way. I'm looking forward to my new journey as a panda at Pleasant Hill Elementary. I know alongside Ms. Pagan, we can do wonderful things for the school community and make new memories. Again, thank you so much.
The next appointment tonight is for Shelby Jerez as assistant principal at Parton Settlement Elementary School. Shelby has held the following positions: teacher at Pembroke Lakes Elementary and Lake Forest Elementary, school assessment coordinator at Parton Settlement Elementary, and math science coach at Parton Settlement Elementary. She received her bachelor's degree from the University of Florida, go Gators, and a master's degree from Florida Atlantic University.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Melendez, a second by Mr. Arguello. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you, and it was painful not to give you a Go Gators back. So thank you to the board, Dr. Shanoff, give you another Go Gators. District leadership, especially Dr. Reyes, who's always looking out for elementary friends. Of course, to Ms. Corbett and Ms. Ortiz. Ms. Ortiz has moved on from us to Sunrise now, but they've both been and I'm sure will continue to be amazing mentors. To Christy Ray for always looking out for her aspiring assistant principals. Thank you. Also to my education family down in Broward who's watching virtually. Hi. Especially to my mentor principals, Mrs. Wagner and Dr. Cooper. My family that's here tonight, my parents, my dad came even though he just had knee surgery, so he's here being a trooper. My Uncle Bobby and my forever mentor and my Aunt Amy. My amazing son Riley, my husband Ruben, who has never said no to any of my career adventures, whether it was getting a master's or deciding to move to Osceola with about 48 hours notice. And of course to my Parton family that I'm so excited to continue to work with. They teach me and support me every single day, and I'm extremely excited for the next school year. Thank you.
Next appointment is Catherine McCormick to be the new assistant principal at Reedy Creek Elementary School. Catherine McCormick has held the following positions: teacher at Lakeview Elementary, teacher at Parton Settlement Elementary, and learning resource specialist testing MTSS AVID coordinator at Parton Settlement Elementary. She received her bachelor's degree in early childhood from the University of Florida, go Gators, and a master's degree in educational leadership from Stetson University.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Arguello, second by Vice Chair Castillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you so much to the board and to Dr. Shanoff for giving me this opportunity. I'm so excited. To Ms. Corbett and Ms. Ortiz, who have been my mentors for quite a long time and have really put up with answering all of my questions, so thank you so much. To my Parton Settlement family of 22 years. It's going to be a difficult, bittersweet goodbye, but I just want you all to know that I hold you in my heart and I'm forever part of that Parton family. To my new Reedy Creek family, I'm really excited to join you. I've heard wonderful, amazing things, and I'm so excited. And then lastly, to my family who's here supporting me tonight, I have my wonderful parents who have really set the groundwork and left big footsteps for me to follow. To my husband, Rob, and our children, I have 4 of them here with me tonight: Mackenzie, Savannah, Olivia, and Brooke, and I'm really appreciative for everyone, so thank you.
Our next appointment tonight is Joyce Ramirez to be the assistant principal at Celebration K-8. Joyce Ramirez has held the following positions: teacher at Benjamin Franklin Academy, teacher at Puerto Rico Christian School, teacher at Tangelo Park Elementary, teacher at Westside K-8, and math science instructional coach at Lakeview Elementary. She received her bachelor's degree in elementary education from American University of Puerto Rico and a master's degree in educational leadership from Florida Atlantic University.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Arguello, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations.
Well, I would like to thank Dr. Shanoff, the board members, and Gary Whedon for the opportunity to serve as an assistant principal at Celebration K-8. I am truly honored and excited to contribute to our school's mission and support our students, staff, and community in this new role. I would first like to thank God because it is by His grace that I am standing here this evening. I would also like to thank my family, my husband, and my 2 boys for their ongoing support throughout this journey. Their encouragement and belief in me have been invaluable. I am committed to leading by example, just like the amazing leaders that have played a vital role in my professional growth and have had a profound impact in my life, shaping me into who I am today. Christy Ray, Joyce Graham, Melanie Cleveland, Jose Vasquez, Nicole Krebs, I thank them all. Last but not least, I want to thank my friend, Joyce Mackey, for being with me throughout my leadership journey, for her support, advice, and encouragement. Once again, thank you.
Our next appointment is for Joan Van Sickle to be our new Director of Design and Construction. Joan Van Sickle has held the following positions: Construction Manager Coordinator for Brevard County, Project Manager for WSP Parson Brinkerhoff, Project Manager Facilities Planning, Seminole County Public Schools, and Facilities Manager Client Liaison for Orange County Public Schools. She received her bachelor's degree in business management and a master's degree in public administration from the University of Central Florida.
So,
I have a motion by Mr. Melendez, a second by Mr. Arguello. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations.
Board members, superintendent, Mr. Sharma, that's the last time I'm calling you that. Thank you so much for the vote of confidence. I look forward to working with you and serving the students of Osceola County. But I'd like to thank my husband for putting up with me through this crazy construction industry that I have chosen. So, thank you very much. I look forward to it all.
Our next appointment is for Randy Wheeler to be our new Director of Transportation. Randy Wheeler has held the following positions: Manager for Intermodal Transportation Systems. I won't give the dates. Senior Administrator in Transportation for Orange County Public Schools, Assistant Director and Director of Transportation for Brevard Public Schools, and Coordinator of Transportation, Supervisor of Operations for Osceola School District's Transportation Department.
So moved.
second.
I have a motion by Mr. Arguello, a second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations.
Read that, it makes it sound like I can't hold a job, sir. But Mr. Noble, Dr. Allen, Superintendent at Board, I am quite honored that you are entrusting me with the leader of this very important department. I've been here 6 going on 7 years, and this is a team that has accomplished some amazing things under adverse conditions. And I would love to stand here and promise you no more parent calls about late buses or where the bus stop is located.
Good job.
Not a miracle. What I can promise you is every bus driver, every bus attendant, mechanic, router, payroll, timekeeper, all our office staff, heck, even our building custodians are focused and dedicated to making the complex machinery of school bus transportation work day after day to support the learners of Osceola. So I'm very proud of what this team has done these last 6 or 7 years, but to quote a bad movie, you ain't seen nothing yet. Thank you.
From the Air Force side.
And our last appointment tonight is Steve Kittner to be the new Coordinator of Safety, Security, and Emergency Management. Stephen Kittner has held the following positions: Director of Security, Mobile Training Lead, Team Lead, J9 Research and Development for Defense Threat Reduction Agency, Assistant Director of Operations, Senior Instructor for Squadron Officer College at Maxwell Air Force Base, Deputy Director of Intelligence, Security Manager for Special Operations Command Central at MacDill Air Force Base, Intelligence Security Specialist for Jacobs Engineering, Booz Allen Hamilton, and Security Facility Manager for Seneca Global Services. He received his a bachelor's degree in political science from Cal State, San Bernardino, and a master's degree in criminal justice from the American Military University. He also holds numerous certifications from the U.S. Air Force Air University, the Defense Nuclear Weapons Schools, and the Defense Threat Reduction Agency.
So moved.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Castillo, a second by Mr. Arguello. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations.
Already.
I don't know what's worse, Air Force or UCal.
Oh, wow. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir, and board members, and Dr. Allen, I appreciate it. I look forward to working for Osceola County. I've lived here for 5 years, so it would be great to go from federal service to local service. And I look forward to utilizing my experience in the military and the federal government to make all the schools safe and secure. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we have several transfers to announce. So just want to make sure that we capture these in the record. Debbie Jones, currently Assistant Principal at Celebration K-8, will now be Assistant Principal at Deerwood Elementary School. Daniel Perlaza, currently Assistant Principal at Bella Lago Academy, will now be Assistant Principal at East Lake Elementary. Keith Anacata, returning from LOA, will now be Assistant Principal at Michigan Avenue Elementary. Melanie Crawford, currently Assistant Principal at Boggy Creek Elementary, will now be Assistant Principal at Bella Lago Academy. Rachel Bynum, currently Assistant Principal at Narcoossee Elementary School, will now be Assistant Principal at Boggy Creek Elementary. Tracy Merritt, currently Assistant Principal at Thacker Avenue Elementary, will now be Assistant Principal at Harmony Community. Faye Salvato, currently Assistant Principal at Harmony Community School, will now be the Assistant Principal at Thacker Avenue Elementary. Aaron Williams, currently Assistant Principal at Michigan Avenue Elementary, will now be Assistant Principal at Knights Point K-8.
Thank you. With that, we are on to presentations. Ms. Castillo, you have your presentation for summer IT interns.
Yes, so I saved my positive comments for this. So a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was just a week and a half ago, I took a little trip very far away to the IT department that's across the street. And I was just gonna stay for a little while. I just wanted to see what was happening over there. And I ended up meeting these incredibly competent, smart, I'm gonna wait until folks change off the guard. Oh, okay. It's okay. Dinner's to go to. We have to celebrate. Let's go. Let's Okay, it looks like most folks are out the door, have great dinners, celebrate. So as I was saying, I took a little trip to IT and I met these incredibly capable students who are working on our machines every single day. And I just wanted to thank them for their work, and I wanted them to be recognized and also recognize their program itself. We have so many students. I don't know how many students are here. We'll see in a second. We have so many students that are essentially working for us and learning the craft of IT. So I just wanted to recognize them. And so I'm going to call you guys up here and give you just a little token of appreciation. Closing the door now. Okay, as we're closing the door, we have Benji Luna. Well done, Benji.
Good job, thank you.
Benji, you're also going to college right now, right? Where are you going?
Yes, ma'am. I go to Valencia College.
Valencia, what's your major?
Business and organizational leadership, but I want a career in IT.
Business, organizational leadership, wants to be in IT. Can we just, we're just gonna offer your job right now. We also have Francesco, is it Levat? Did I say that correctly? Savat? And so where are you going to school?
I'm at Valencia College. I graduate next month.
Congratulations.
Well done. And what do you?
I'm
what's-
information technology, associate's degree.
We got a pipeline right here. We got
That's right, you do.
There you go. Congratulations.
Good job.
Adrian Rios. What about you, Adrian? Where are you going to school?
I'm going to Valencia College as well for psychology and counseling.
Psychology and IT. Tell me that's not a powerful combination.
Very
well
powerful.
done. Riley Nunez.
Good job.
What are you majoring in, Riley? Make sure.
Right now it's just general studies.
General studies. We love that. Thank you for all your work.
Thank you so much.
Well done. We got Eric Logan.
Good job.
Thanks.
Where are you going to school, Eric?
Well, I did go to school in Valencia College online, and I'll be graduating this July, and probably still be working here till the end of July. You know, just to
Okay.
save for laws and all such.
We need you, actually, all of you, to the end of July.
Yes.
We need you. Oh, here you go.
Here you go. You can stand here. I'll stand over.
We need you till August, actually, so don't go anywhere.
Yeah, sure.
Gabriel Rodriguez.
Thank you.
There you go, Gabriel. And what about you? What are you doing?
Getting a certificate in cybersecurity and getting a bachelor's in IT.
Cybersecurity and a bachelor's in IT. I love that. Gabe Vasquez.
And nice glasses too. Thank you.
He loves them. What about you, Gabe? What are you up to?
I'm at UCF for business management.
Business management. We love it. Congratulations. Val Reyes.
Congratulations. Good job.
Well done, Val. And what are you doing as well?
I'm going for a bachelor's in IT,
Yes.
and I'm over at UCF.
Lovely. Congratulations. And Zach Parker. There you go, Zach. And what are you doing as well?
I'm in Valencia College, and I'm going for a bachelor's in IT.
Love it. Thank you. Well, we just want to do a picture.
Yes. Squeeze in.
There we
Squeeze
go.
in.
Everybody, like you like each other. Like it's the back of house because that's tight over there.
Dr. Shanoff, I need you to squeeze.
All right, let's get a little tighter. Pretend like we're laptops.
Sean?
Got it?
I like that.
Are you ready?
Where are the construction majors?
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you all. Don't forget us when you're big shots. Come back home, okay? Well done.
That's a great
Anybody not get one of these? Does everybody have one? Have an extra one. Good, good.
I'm sure Terry's.
Okay.
I'll take it.
You deserve it, actually. Oh, wait, you don't have one.
Better not be lying,
Madam Chair, I just want to thank staff, whoever was coordinating this program, because I do believe it's so important that students just don't learn homework, that they actually get real world experience doing apprenticeships, doing internships. And so I know that we have a program that the board approved that for the construction of new schools, they want to hire at least 1 or 2 students in every project and get that real world experience. It's the same thing with IT. I believe that we should model that across the district wherever we can, because we're a department of everything and we graduate students that specialize in different areas. And so I just really think, just commend you, Mr. Thorne, thank you for taking it on, because you could have just said, okay, that's it, but you guys are teaching how to image them, and I heard that the students are doing everything, as much as they can handle. They're not like, oh, they're just students, don't do this, don't do that. So.
As much as they can, and they're very well supervised, and we have this pipeline that just continues to go, and it's been doing that for many years.
Yeah.
So, and these folks end up in positions in our district typically, so they do.
Talk about grow your own. Well done.
With that, we are on to our agenda modifications. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So 1301 is a blue sheeted item, and I think it deserves some explanation, because when the agenda was originally posted 7 days ago, this item was actually posted, and through some sort of technical glitch with Board Docs, which Board Docs has investigated, this item disappeared during the course of those 7 days. To ensure that we cover our bases, we're treating it like a blue sheeted item, although we did put it back up as soon as it became available again. So 1301 is a blue sheeted item. 1901 and 1902 are informational items only. They do not require any action. So wanted to mention that as well. So again, 1301 blue sheet, 1901, 1902 are informational only.
Mr. Melendez?
802, 907, 1406, and 1702.
Thank you. Mr. Arroyo?
6.01 and 16.01. And I have comments on 19.1.
Ms. Castillo?
Oh, man.
Thank you. So to read that back, we have comment on 6.01, 8.02, 9.07, 14.06, 16.01, 17.02, and 19.01.
Motion to approve the modified agenda and, approve the agenda as modified.
I have a motion to approve the agenda as modified. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. A motion by Ms. Castillo, a second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 6.01, Mr. Arroyo, you're recognized.
So I had a conversation with the union today regarding the termination of one of our employees, which in this situation, both parties seem to have reasonable concerns. Certainly, I wouldn't say that the district is without cause in the action that they've taken. However, the union had concerns that the processes have changed, right? Or the outlook has changed, the procedures have changed, but that it was not communicated to the union. And so that created a little bit of concern for the union that we were not communicating a policy change or directive change to them. And whereas this is regarding a failed drug test, so this person, I guess previous to this administration, people were given second chances. They were allowed to go to, I guess, to have some kind of alternative process as opposed to termination. Now we have a zero tolerance policy is what they understand. All that is fine and good. But I do have a concern that where it may not be fair to change policy without communicating to the union and making sure that they understand what those rules are, because we're gonna get employees caught up in situations that they're not aware of. Now, I'm not saying that this, that the district does not have cause or that it's in the wrong in this situation. I'm just saying that communication would be valuable here. Also, Another cause for communication errors or confusion on our employees is that right now we have an amendment that is coming up, and that amendment addresses the issue for this drug test. So it's hard to say as a state that we're gonna legalize marijuana or make it recreational, it's fine for recreational use, and then now we're gonna start firing people, and that brings a certain level of complication to how we're treating the employees and whatever. So I just wanted to address those concerns. I wanted to voice the opinion of the union that they feel like this was not properly communicated to them. And I mean, I think that we need to take some kind of make sure that they understand if this is going to become a no tolerance policy, that's communicated to them. You know, so I can't say that I feel, you know, that I'm in the that I don't share the same position that the district does. I'm just saying that if that's their concern, I think that that's a fair concern to have. So that's all.
Can I ask for clarification? What is the policy currently? Has it always been a zero tolerance policy, or?
You can.
So our alcohol and drug-free workplace policy is the same as it's always been. The one incident that there was a second chance provided was 7 or 8 years ago. We have this year released several employees for failure on our drug test policy. The union is fully aware of the policy. This representative that contacted us last week is not the union rep that we work with one-on-one. I share the information with her that we've been working with the Teamsters Union on. In the nation, public school districts receive federal funding, and when you receive federal funding, you have to attest that you're a drug-free workplace. And otherwise, you run the risk of losing that federal funding. So our policy, as well as the policies across the state, 3 states where I have worked, and other public entities that I know of, it's you test positive, you are recommended for termination. They do have the ability to then follow their contract language to appeal that. So they have 2 options. One is a hearing on the front end, one is following the contract language on the back end, which is filing a grievance. The union, 2 of our unions have filed grievances related to releases for drug-free workplace violations, and they have ended before they've gone to arbitration. So we've been very consistent this year. We've been very consistent over the last several years. We do have an employee assistance program within our drug-free workplace procedures, but the time is for the employee to ask us prior to something that happens related to testing positive. And there's a lot of reasons that we would test. We have Department of Transportation requirements to test. We have reasonable suspicion procedures that we would test. And we have post-accident testing. If an employee believes that they have an issue, our procedures, absolutely, they can come to us and say, hey, I have an issue. I need some help. They may or may not remain on the job during that help period, but once they've done something that has resulted in the need for a drug test and it comes back positive, they've lost that option.
And for this case, did the employee choose to file a grievance or?
If they do, they will have 15 days from, I think it's 15, I'd have to look at the specific number of days in the contract, but it's after the procedure, after the board action. So they're all notified after board action that it's happened, and that would kick off the timeline for them to file if they wish to go through the grievance process.
Thank you, Mr. Arpaio.
Yeah, and I'm not disputing the dates or the timeframes or so on, but so far this year, we've had 2 employees that have been terminated for this cause that have come back and said, well, so-and-so got a second chance, all right? And so there was somebody who got a second, for whatever reason, they got a second chance. And for me, that can easily be attributed to the fact that before, if you had a good relationship with the previous superintendent or somebody, or you were friends here, then you could get a second chance after you popped hot on a test, right? But now, maybe you cannot. But, and that, obviously, there's certain transition when people are expecting that so-and-so got into the EAP, I should be allowed in the EAP too. They don't understand necessarily the processes in which you get that opportunity or not. And I certainly don't disagree with the policy itself. I just, I wanna be fair, and if they come to me and they say, hey, listen, we're trying to communicate that we have this concern, that I wanna make sure that their concern is at least addressed. I think that that's fair. But again, like I said, I'm not with the outcome. I don't have an issue with the outcome. I just have, if we're not communicating, and I think that, they had a question, when I was conversing with them, they had a question about what is policy versus what is the norm, right? Like, is this like a non-official norm or is this actual policy? So I was talking, well, policy couldn't have changed unless we voted on it. So I would imagine that this is the policy. So it can't have been changed. So, but anyways, the communication concern, they addressed it. I imagine that we can reach out. And this is something that we should communicate to that there is a no tolerance policy. And if you pop hot on a test, then your days are numbered at the district, right? Like, that's a fair, especially because we have a marijuana amendment coming up on the elections. At that point in time, I imagine that if they're an employee and they're not savvy to these kinds of issues, right, then why? There's an amendment right now, right? We just passed, right? Just assuming that it passes, we just passed, so why can I smoke marijuana on the street today, but I go to the district, I smoke marijuana, and now I'm getting fired, right? So,
We will
and I hope,
absolutely communicate, absolutely, if that happens.
right, I mean, that makes sense. And I hopefully the politicians here, we're not firing employees and then voting for Amendment 3, because that stinks of hypocrisy. But thank you very much.
You bet.
Mr. Melendez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to let, what I heard sounds reasonable. The fact that, we have an EAP, an Employee Assistance Program, to help employees. And I think one of the distinguishing factors, and I would like to make it clear, because if it's not clear in our policy, I would like to make it clear in the policy to what you said. It's different if you voluntarily say, hey, without getting caught. It's a different story where you didn't say you had a problem and you're seeking help versus the school district doing some kind of random audit or some kind of check because it's a valuable employee or an employee in a position that's, that requires it according to the different laws. That I do believe in that. You know what I mean? So I don't, because you say zero tolerance, technically someone can go, well, zero tolerance means zero tolerance, period. So I do believe in only that exception. That if somebody voluntarily comes to you before they do a test and say, hey, I have a problem, I'm looking to get treatment, and then you can almost have like, I don't even know, like a probationary contract too, because just because you do that doesn't get your get out of jail free card forever either. That I do believe that there should be some conditions to that and say, okay, we acknowledge that you're seeking help, but if I don't know what that would look like, I guess that's like important to have a discussion if we ever had that conversation. And then as far as the marijuana is concerned, well, alcohol is legal, you still can't be drunk on campus. So to me, whether or not the amendment passes or not is not really that impactful to how the district operates in those sensitive positions. Now, the only thing that is different of marijuana than alcohol is the fact that it stays in your system a little bit longer. So it could have been that you smoked on the weekend and 2 days later, I don't want to have that conversation yet. That's a conversation to be had if the amendment actually passes. But I do understand that, just because it's legal does not necessarily mean that we have to accept it on our campus.
Dr. Shanoff, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple things. First of all, thank you for the suggestion, Member Arguello. We will clarify with all of our union leadership. This one happened to come from Teamsters, which has gone through some turnover in their representation with our school district. And so it could be that they just haven't necessarily been in the know because they haven't always worked with us. However, we will make sure that this is clarified with all of our union leadership across the district. But I think we've been fairly consistent since I've come on board. Policy is policy. We don't deviate from the policy because staff are not in a governance position. Staff is in an operational position. We don't make policy. The board makes policy. We follow policy. That's our job. So we won't be amending policy within the operational ranks. That's just not something that that is our lane. So we are a drug-free workplace that comes with a zero tolerance for any drugs within the workplace, and we'll make sure that we orient all of our union representation to that policy to ensure that everything is very clear.
Thank you. Mr. Urbana, you're recognized.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much, and I think that they would be happy too, so that everyone understands. And better yet, the employees all are on the same page. You can't go wrong with that. I do want to speak against the ridiculous assumption that marijuana and alcohol is the same thing. Those have different effects. It's in law, right, that you can do one and the other. I don't think that if somebody, it's just two completely different scenarios. We've never had any policy that says that you have to have an alcohol-free lifestyle, right? But if we are a drug-free employer, then you have to have a non-marijuana lifestyle because it lasts too long in the system. So you just can't do it, right? So you can't work here and smoke weed on the weekends. You can't do that. So, I mean, that's a complicated matter that we have to address because that law change is going to impact, I imagine, several of the thousands of employees that we have at this district. And to pretend that it's like alcohol is just ridiculous and that lacks foresight. But I look forward to the policy discussion when it comes to I won't be part of it actually, so it doesn't matter. But obviously that has to be addressed. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Do I have a motion on this item?
Motion approved.
I have a motion by Mr. Melendez. Second. Second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. 8.02, Mr. Melendez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This was an actual congratulations or thank you to the county commission for partnering together with the school district. Because the partnership is including for CTE development for Liberty High School to have extra, it was an HVAC program, but that was an expansion. The fact that they work with us on other programs is commendable. And I know they don't have to do that. So the fact that the county is, working together with schools to invest in schools is something that I wanted to publicly acknowledge. Because a lot of times, we get heated with the interlocal agreements and everything like that, but I also want to give them praise when they do the right thing as well. So the fact is, the county is investing in our students, they're investing in our schools, and I appreciate that. I just wanted the county to know that I really appreciate the partnership, and I move to approve 802.
Second. Motion by Mr. Melendez, second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Melendez, you're recognized for 9.07.
All right, now here is an interesting one. This was an item that I brought up earlier in the year in January, and this was the PFM management group, right? So I pulled the records for the original contract, and the original contract was in 1995. And it's never been renewed, never been, out for bid, never been competitively bid on there. And I just fundamentally, even if they are the greatest company in the world, generating the best results, even if they had the lowest fees in the world, ethically speaking, there's something wrong with the contractor having a contract with the school district infinitum. They got this contract before I even graduated high school, and they've never been out in the marketplace and requested to compete to get the job of the school district. And as a matter of fact, they have an agenda item to reduce their fees. I wonder why they're doing that. Because I brought it up at the last board meeting in January that I wasn't happy with their performance. I didn't even look at their fees because I was just saying, why don't we do a competition, an actual, RFP or RFQ to go out there and see if we can get better fees. So what they do, they adjusted their fees to avoid competition. So to me, that's what I would do if I was them too. So I can't really fault them for adjusting their fees. But it only took me to acknowledge that. But that's what the purpose of having bid renewals does. The idea of a bid renewal is not just a buzzword. It's the fact that the school district or the government in general has to make a determination in the marketplace what is the best price in terms of conditions that we are receiving. You create a monopoly when a company does not end its contract. They get to stay there forever, ever, and they're not competing with anybody. There's no incentive for them to lower the price. So when they heard that I was disappointed that they have a contract that's infinitum, what do you know? They go ahead and they lower the fee and they save the district money. I mean, I should be excited, but I can also be disappointed that the staff didn't do that earlier. How much money did we spend because staff did not do their due diligence and make an RFP to these folks to make them competitive? Because, and here's the other issue with that too, because that's almost unfair to the other businesses that may want to get that contract. So they're basically bid against themselves. By lowering their fee, they're like, okay, they shouldn't just lower their fee. It should have been a bid, and then 3 different companies minimum or whatever the number can be, whoever responds, they all compete for that business, and we should select the lowest one, not just the one that's been there forever. So I'm gonna accept this amendment here because they're lowering the fees. I'm not gonna say for the school district to go higher, but I wanna be able to set up an RFP or an RFQ or whatever alphabet soup that you wanna do to allow other people the opportunity to get the business of the school district. And only that, but we have to amend the contract to actually end. You know, that would be the next amendment that we do. Amendment 4 says this contract has to expire at a certain time. And at that time, they're gonna seek a renewal because they shouldn't just ad infinitum, you know, get a contract. And to me, that's just, and again, that's irrespective of their performance. They could be the best performing contractor in the whole wide world, but there's just something fundamentally flawed of a contract that does not end and that you do not compete, that you earn the business of a government entity.
Mr. Aguayo, you're recognized.
That was a gigantic waste of time if you're not gonna make a motion to actually change it. If you're gonna approve this, we can't legally approve this and then say, but in the future, we're gonna do something else. This is your one opportunity, and I don't know what the point of all that was.
I brought it up at the last board meeting, and I didn't get it. Matter of fact, what I did.
Okay, I'm
was-
speaking
was-
still, and
no,
I'm
no,
recognized,
but no,
I'm
that's the point,
recognized,
though.
I'm
I had a
recognized.
workshop, and the
I'm
workshop was
recognized.
not.
Mr.
I'm recognized.
Melendez, Mr. Aguayo is recognized. If you'd like to speak again, put your light on.
The point is, you came here with all gas and no fire. So what, you don't have a motion ready, you're not here, you don't wanna kill this. Are you gonna vote no on this, or are you gonna vote yes or no? I mean, what is it that your plan is? None. So in November, by the time this comes, you may not even be here. I won't be here. So it's a moot point. All of that was for nothing. Either, I mean, if you're gonna come and you're gonna speak out and you're gonna make a show, talk about doing something for the cameras, then make a motion to do something about it, fix the problem, vote no on this or something. But, I mean, that doesn't, you speaking for 10 minutes on the item does not change the circumstance.
Mr. Melendez, you're recognized.
That's a great point. I did make a motion, and we said we were gonna have a workshop, and it was not done. The difference is, I try not to call people out and call personal outreach, I'm called personal attacks up here. That's the difference. Now, you're right. I'm willing to vote no against this right now, because the last thing that I requested was to have a formal workshop on this contract and why was it in infinitum, or why is it forever? But here's the issue, is that now it's costing us money. At the same token, this is not a contract extension. This is just agreeing to lower fees. So if I stick to those guns, what am I gonna do, cost the district money because I wanna wait another month? So I'd rather lower those fees, to be honest with you, and I'd rather approve this item to lower their fees. That's all that's happening in here. And I would like to actually have a motion to amend the contract. Or actually, I can approve it with that amendment on there. Is that significant? Or can I have it TP'd? Or I guess this is a question for the Lord for parliamentary procedures. Because I would like to add a clause for a date of renewal to be established on this contract.
So, Mr. Melendez, if you want to assure tonight that the fees are lowered for this contract, the recommendation would be that you approve the contract as it is, but then you can make a motion to direct me or the superintendent or the school district to then work with this company to add an amendment to their contract subsequently to this. In the alternative, if they did not want to add an amendment to the contract, there is the 30-day termination clause that is already in there. So the motion today could be to approve what is on there and then do a second motion to direct me to draft an amendment that adds a new termination clause to the contract.
And that's a good point. And I'm trying to think in my head real quick, what's the best course of action? Because if I allow the lower fees, yes, the district saves the money immediately, but then also we allow them an unfair advantage of showing lower fees. Because when you do the RFP, our RFP is supposed to be sealed and the competitor is not supposed to know what the prices are they're willing to do it for?
That is gonna be a question because it's banking for Ms. Kramer.
Yeah, when a company does, like, for instance, we just changed our banking right now, and we had a competition for who's gonna do our banking. Does the competitive banks, when they were bidding, got to know what the proposals and fee structures were of the competitors when they did that?
If they attended the public meeting, then they could. Once the process is over, then everything becomes public and they can request afterwards. But before the deadline, they don't know how each other's bidding.
Correct. So with that, then I would decline this offer to lower the amendment, because then it's working around the process of a public solicitation to see what the fees are.
I do
And-
remind, however, that that is already posted on board docs, so the community will already see that and know that that's what they are offering for fees if they are to bid moving forward.
Yeah, but to Mr. Arguello's point, I'm trying to do something here, and what I'm trying to do is the right thing. And it's not fair for one company to unilaterally lower that price and then not have a competition, when in reality, that should have been under a competitive solicitation, and under that competitive solicitation, they should have won that award to lower the fees. Because now they're trying to lower the fees, and then the staff goes, well, you know what, they're a good price, why do the competitive solicitation? It's like, then we're just doing this infinite loop that doesn't end.
So, Mr. Melendez, just to clarify my response to your question, so they cannot see what each other would be bidding through a RFP solicitation process, but anybody can request any of our current contracts. That is public information. So regardless of this proposed amendment that's in board docs right now, that's public, as well as our current contract. So if someone were bidding on a solicitation, they would be able to request whatever our current fees are.
And try to get lower than that if they could. But what if this is the rock bottom? You know what I'm saying? Like, before the price was a higher basis point, this is the rock bottom that somebody's willing to do it. It just stinks, man. This is just a bad process. But either way, I have the motion to amend the contract regardless, to have an end date for us to perform an RFP.
You can't do that. You can't unilaterally change the contract. What you can do is bring a motion to at the next meeting.
Can you wait, please, Ms. Castillo, you're recognized.
My light has been on.
So has hers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do think that we do need to come to the table with this particular vendor as requested, because I do remember that conversation. And I was on board to have a workshop to not only to understand what they have been doing for us, but really to understand the process of our investments, which is something I think we would all have questions on. So I wonder if at this point, because we can't amend their contract, it's just what is before us right now is lowering the fees. That is all that's before us. I wonder if we can table this until we actually have a workshop, as was requested, to better understand our relationship with this particular vendor. Would that be something that you would be open to?
And there's something technically flawed with what you said too.
Mr. Melendez, okay.
No, I'm sorry. She asked me, she was looking
I
at me,
did
I'm
ask
sorry.
him, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I did.
I was looking at her face, not at your light. I apologize, Madam Chair, as well. I want to maintain the flow as well.
I mean, you have.
No, I do have a question to be able to move forward with whatever motion for him, for Mr. Melendez.
Correct, because, and I don't mean this in a personal way, I'm trying to separate my motion from what's going on.
I don't take it personally.
Okay, but I respect you, Terry. And one thing is look at what you said too. We cannot amend it. Well, technically speaking, we can never amend it because it's never ending. It's never going to be up. So at what point, the only thing that we're left is to actually motion to terminate it, to then cause an
But we don't have
amendment.
anything in front of us to terminate is what I'm saying. The only thing we have in front of us is this item to reduce the fees.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just talking about from a philosophical, I mean, from what's happening. Right now, the way the contract is written, it's never up for renewal, it's never up for anything. So technically speaking, we're in a hamstrung contract that we can never amend, because you just said it, we can't amend it. And you're kind of right, and that sucks that you're right, that we cannot amend this contract because it's never ending. There's never a period for us to review it and to alter the terms and conditions. That's the fundamental problem that's wrong with this contract as written. That's how come I'm having so much heartache. So I mean that, and they could be the greatest company. I'm not trying to change them. I'm trying to change the contract language that lets them compete. And so I'm even willing to have this workshop, but if we don't actually do what, I hate to say Mr. Arroyo, I'm agreeing with him. The actual thing we need to do is terminate the contract, say, yes, we're gonna execute termination, but that doesn't mean that we wanna stop doing business with you. We wanna terminate the contract so we can actually create a clean contract with just like every other one that's in this district that has like a 3-year award period with 5 years or something like that.
Mr. Arguello, you're recognized.
I mean, I think that we're overcomplicating this. We can vote yes on this, and all that does is drive down the price that we would pay if it goes out to bid anyways. And everybody's gonna know. Everyone can know. Anybody who would compete on this contract is gonna know what we just approved, and they're gonna know what they have to go under. You cannot unilaterally change a contract, but we can approve this, and you can make a motion. It sounds like you guys have an appetite to change this vendor, so then you can make a motion and then, and put it on the agenda for next meeting to terminate this contract on X day. So you have 4 months, put it out to bid. How long is it gonna take? And or say in 6 months, you'll pick a new vendor or whatever. But if you guys are the ones that have the appetite, then I would say that you guys have until about November or October to put them through the RFP process and pick a vendor.
Thank you. Dr. Shanoff, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that we need to bring this in for a landing, but I think that the best thing for us to do is if I think we need to take this item for what it is and vote it up or down. And then if the direction of the board is that we need to bring in FPM or PFM to come in and do a presentation. We'll amend the workshop schedule to accommodate that at the earliest possible opportunity.
I don't think a presentation by them is what's correct.
Yeah, they actually.
Okay, so
We have.
if the answer is then that we want to go out for RFP, then just tell us that you want us to go out for RFP, and we'll go out for RFP. I think we just need the direction of the board. So if it's the board's direction for us to go out for RFP, then we can go out for RFP. I think we can go out for RFP at any time. So if that's what the board's desire is, then Ms. Corrin, I don't know if that could be an amendment or another motion that they can vote on tonight. But just tell us what you want us to do and we'll do it.
So my recommendation would be based on what has been discussed here today. If you want to have the fees lowered, would be to approve this contract as it is on board docs. You do not need a motion to ask Dr. Shanoff and the team to go out for RFP. If that's something that you want them to do, you can express that. If you want to have a formal motion for that, the best course to keep things in line would be to bring it up at new business next week, and at that point, you can make that motion for the RFP.
Mr. Arguello, you're recognized.
I withdraw my comments.
Mr. Melendez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know Dr. Shanoff said it could be at any time, but how long does it take to prepare the RFP and put it together and stuff like that for like a reasonable time frame?
So this one probably would take us, I'm looking at Christy.
Probably 4 to 6 months.
4 to 6 months from beginning to end. I think that's fair.
Right, because, well, we don't have to formally terminate the contract until maybe the RFP is, can we do the RFP without having to terminate the contract?
Yeah, and in this case, due to the nature of the services that we're talking about, there would need to be an overlap and a transition period.
Perfect. So I wouldn't need to terminate it then. maybe I would like them to create a formal, unless we got head nod now in direction that we're gonna go ahead and do the RFP, and I would like to create a vote, because I had a motion last time to do a workshop, that didn't happen. I wanna make sure that the RFP actually happens. So
Can I
you
get
tell me
from the
legally
board
what's
if
the binding
we,
part.
I think our
That's not a
attorney
consensus
stated,
issue, that has to be put on the agenda.
I think she stated
Chair-
it did
Chair
not have to
Kingholm.
be.
What I would recommend is if you are going to take a formal vote, that the vote that is taken tonight is either to approve or not approve the amendment of this contract, and then to bring back a vote for an RFP for new business next board meeting, if we're going to take a formal vote. So tonight it would be the vote
I'll do that,
on
I'll
what's
do
on the
that.
board
So a
agenda.
motion to approve the item with lower fees as submitted, and also would like to place on new business for the following board meeting, the RFP.
Second. Dr. Shanoff, you recognize?
It's placed on the agenda for new business, it's not voted on. It has to be an agenda item. So if it's placed on for new business, it won't be voted on until July 30th. Okay, just to make sure that
Yeah, the vote.
nobody thinks that we're gonna be voting on this July 16th. Okay, got it.
The board at July 16th would vote to then put it as an agenda item to vote.
For the
to approve
30th, thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Melendez to approve 9.02 as stated on the agenda. Do I have a second?
9.07.
Second. I'm sorry, did I say it wrong? Sorry, 9.07. Second by Vice Chair Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
I think Tanya has it.
For the follow-up, is something going on the 7/16, like?
New business, Melissa will put it on as RFP for long-term investment.
Just to discuss it? Yes. And then the vote will be on the 7:30. Okay, thank
Why is there, why is there two
No,
meetings?
hold on. It goes on, I'm sorry, I'll wait till you recognize.
Dr. Shanoff, you recognize?
It goes on as new business. New business is there to be discussed by the board, and then when consensus is made as to whether or not the board wants us to place it on 7:30's agenda to be voted on to go out for RFP, then that's what happens. So it is not anything other than a RFP for long-term investment that will go on as new business brought by Mr. Melendez.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarifications.
We are on to 14.01. We already voted on that item. We had discussion on that item. 12.01 was a We don't have to go through everything. We'll do this. Sorry, thank you. 12.01. Motion to approve 12.01.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Castillo, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 13.01. Motion to approve. Motion to approve 13.01 by Ms. Castillo.
Second.
Second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye.
Motion to approve 14.01.
Motion by Ms. Castillo, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 14.02.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Castillo, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 14.03.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Castillo, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 14.04.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Ms. Ms. Castillo, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Motion to approve 14.05.
14.05. Motion by Ms. Castillo, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Aguayo, are you voting on these items? 14.06, Mr. Melendez, you're recognized.
Yeah, a phone, because I had a discussion during board member agenda review. If Mr. Sharma can just kind of brief the whole board, because I know this was the OXA renovation and, there were discussions about just knocking down the whole building, looking at the Gastaldi. And so I just want to make sure, because Sunshine, I'm not allowed to talk to the other board members. I just want to make sure the same message is getting across to all board members.
I've spoken to Mr. Sharma.
Yeah, and I did meet with each board member individually, Mr. Melendez. But yes, we did look at the option of knocking down the auditorium and rebuilding it. One, our timeline would be out the window, so we won't be able to do it. But what we found is that structurally, the auditorium is connected to the entire building. It's one uniform building, so it's impossible to knock the auditorium down without taking the rest of the building down. The renovation cost is expected to be roughly, I think our construction manager now, we have 60% documents, thinks it's about $18 million. To replace it completely would cost us about $32 million. So there's a $10 million gap in between the two. So the recommendation from both the contractor as well as our architect and staff is to continue with the renovation.
Right. And then, so the rendering is, are they keeping the cafeteria space as is, or they're repurposing that for like a different area too? Because I know the auditorium is the auditorium, but the surrounding area, are they planning to do anything else with that? Or?
Yes, sir. So that is going to be the new cafeteria. I mean, the multi-purpose space is going to be kept there, but a new kitchen is going to go into that larger building. The current cafeteria space is not large enough for the student capacity that we'll end up with, which is 1,250. So we do need the new space. It's also the ideal area for trucks to back in and create a service area and stuff like that, because the current cafeteria is all the way to the back of the facility and we don't have good access. So yes, there is some, and we've been working with school staff as well as our stakeholders to make sure that is the design. It hasn't changed from the original rendering that I presented to the board. It's the same concept that we're moving forward with.
Right. And I guess the last question as a follow-up is, how about the access road in the back? Has that been finalized yet?
It has not been 100% finalized. We did meet with the developer, O'Connor Capital. They have finished the design. They have it in for permitting with Osceola County. And we are right on the brink, we think, of getting the South Florida Water Management permit to start it. So the two projects are tied in. So ideally by the end of the project, the school being done, the road should be there so that our bus loop can come off the back. In the interim, we have designed the parking lot in such a way that if that does not come to fruition, that we can still operate the way we are currently.
So it wouldn't be like a major change order, maybe a small change order?
It actually won't be a change order because I made sure that they took that into consideration. It's kind of future-proofed, if that's a term.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. Motion approved.
Second. I have a motion by Mr. Melendez, a second by Ms. Castillo, with discussion by Mr. Arguello. You're recognized.
No, my button was on for the previous discussion, which you didn't call.
Motion to approve 14.06. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 14.07.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Castillo, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 15.01.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Castillo, sorry. A second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 16.01. Mr. Arguello, you're recognized.
Yeah, so the only issue that I have with I don't have any issue with actually approving this, which I'll motion to approve it. But I do think that we need to expand something like this throughout all the other resources that we have in the district, specifically the libraries. I look forward to the day that Gaggle would be able to capture all the content that we have throughout the district. If it did, then it would scoop up a huge portion of content that we have in our libraries, and that would be, I think, pretty telling that the filter that we have to prevent stuff from from happening online or on our computer systems in the hands of students would ping a bunch of things that we have in our libraries. So with that, I'm motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Arguello,
Second.
second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 17.01.
Motion approved, and thanking law enforcement agencies for coordinating working together in this schools.
Second. I have a motion by Mr. Melendez, a second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 17.02. Mr. Melendez, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge Dr. Shanoff for bringing up an issue that I didn't even know that we had. Because we use our schools during an emergency, but technically it's the county that's running it. But sometimes, the school district's a little too nice, and we kind of give them a little too much. We don't always seek reimbursements back or have liabilities, given the right way. So this may not get a lot of fanfare, but this is the superintendent looking to mitigate risk and actually fighting for what I always call the fair share. So, even though it's a school district property, but the county is literally the lead agency during an emergency. So this is kind of correcting that balance. And so I appreciate Dr. Shanoff for looking at protecting the best interest of the school district. That I wish to
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Melendez, a second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 17.03.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Castillo, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 18.01. Do we have any public comment?
No, ma'am.
No public comment. Public comment is now closed. 19.01. Mr. Arguello, you are recognized.
Yeah, so I didn't see I know I turned in my stuff late, but it's not in the tabulation, and I think it requires it to be in the tabulation because a school board member is late on turning this in doesn't mean that it can be waived or ignored. It needs to be added to the tabulations for both 1901 and 1902.
Would we have to, I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Ms. Castillo, you are recognized.
Would we as a board have to decide whether or not to allow a board member's comments who were not turned in on time to be added to the tabulation? Is that, what would be the procedure for that?
Would you like to
Yes, ma'am.
So the contract as it's written states that by May 15th and each May 15th thereafter, I will provide a self-assessment, and based on that self-assessment, you will all provide a rating scale and an assessment of myself, and the chair will compile those scores. There is nothing in there that states specifically what dates those need to be in there. However, for Robert's Rules of Order, which is required pursuant to school board policy, anything that is going to be considered for these school board meetings should have been in by June 18th. And it's my understanding that the chair did provide that information. This is an informational item. It is not something that is voted on. So I would leave this up to the discretion of the chair. However, it is my understanding that all of the information submitted by Mr. Arguello is uploaded for view of public content. It does say that a copy of the formal summative evaluation shall be shared with the board, shared at a public meeting, and made available to the public. So those scores are still made available to the public and shared at a public meeting.
Mr. Arguello, you recognized.
Yeah, that's absolutely unacceptable. Essentially what is going on here is that an attorney that has a negative evaluation is choosing to give advice, legal advice, that we can skip that negative evaluation and leave it out as an accompaniment to a contract. The fact is, I'm a board member, I have the same rights that each of you do. It doesn't matter if it was turned in late, there's no date on the contract, and this is about a tabulation. If it's only informational, then it can go on any future date. It can go on at any point. So that advice right there is exactly why the attorney received a negative evaluation from me, in the sense that any attorney in the same position, any reasonable attorney would immediately say, it's best practice to add it to the tabulation. There's no reason not to. There's no contractual obligation not to, and there's no legal reason not to. So it's ridiculous to leave this deadline. It was made up. There's no statutory deadline. There's no legal contractual deadline. It was just made up. So it doesn't matter that I blow by it. The fact that we allow kids to turn in homework late and you guys aren't gonna allow a legal evaluation by a school board member, an elected official, because it's not the one that she wants, is beyond incredible. It's beyond incredible. And believe me, it will be worse to not put it on than it will be to put it on, because I will make it comments here, commentary every 2 weeks until I'm gone, because there's no way that any reasonable school board would allow that to happen. That's ridiculous, and it shows character of the people on this dais and not in a positive light.
Ms. Castillo, you recognized.
Thank you. I just want to clarify what I understood the attorney say, and also to clarify, not for anybody on this dais who's read the agenda, but for people who might be watching who might think that board member Arguello's comments are not included. They are, and you can look at them as I did earlier. What I believe the attorney advised was to actually leave it to the chair. She never said that we are not going to add it. It's already there, so I'm not really sure what your banter is about, your evaluation is already uploaded. So the conversation wasn't about whether or not to upload your specific evaluation, which I do take issue with saying that you can blow over a date just because you feel like it, but I'm not the chair. People do whatever they want. If that's your commitment to your work, that's on you. The conversation was about whether or not to add it to the final scores, and that is up to the chair, and that is what I heard the attorney say. I just wanted to clarify that is what I understood, which is completely opposite of what you understood. And with that, I will leave it to the chair to do what the chair decides to do with those evaluations.
I will make a statement.
I have my
this
light on.
time. Thank you, and I have no light, so I'm taking privilege right now. I will make a statement to state that I was asked to provide a date in which I would like to have the information to me by in order to tabulate the score, since that is part of the procedures or policy related to these two information items. I gave the date of June 18th. I think it was received by one board member by that deadline, another board member with additional time. On Monday at 3 p.m. was when I finalized all tabulations. I told the staff at that time that I had not received your information, and so it was not included. When it became available to me, it was given to our staff for it to become part of these informational items. If staff at this time would like to add your tabulations to the scorecard, if there's an agreement by the rest of the board, I am fine with that, but I had hit my time limit, and I proceeded to do my job as it was stated ahead of time. Mr. Melendez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, because I was gonna say almost the same as Ms. Castillo, because when I look online at the agenda, I see them there. They're just not on the final scorecard tally. Anybody can just put the two together and make up their own scorecard. Now the only question I would have for that is, the scorecard's nice to look at it, but are there any financial incentives tied to the scorecard? Like if there's like a bonus tied to it, then I can understand Mr. Abreu's position. I want my points tabulated because I don't want a bonus getting paid out. If it's just an informational item, then the information's there. I mean, anybody can just sit there and put it on the, so to me, it's, the only reason it would be valid and I would be willing to support it is if they counted towards an incentive or financial bonus that was tied to it, saying, hey, you have to score a 3.0 or better, or score a 4.0 or better, and his score would have not been included in that calculation of a bonus, then absolutely I would be supporting him. But to be honest with you, it's here. Anybody in the public can see exactly his scores. So with that, I think we had enough conversation, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Abreu, you're recognized one more time.
Yeah, so number one, it's another thing that's ridiculous here, is that we need a layperson who does not have a law degree now translating what the legal person said. I don't think that you're qualified to translate what the attorney meant by her comments.
I think
The attorney, I'm speaking, you're not qualified.
I'm
not qualified. I'm
qualified
speaking.
to
You're
say
not
what
qualified.
I thought
You're
she said.
absolutely not qualified
I
to
am qualified to translate on my own.
You are absolutely, and I retain all my
apologize,
time.
Madam Chair.
You're
I will not have
absolutely
my
not
character.
You're not qualified,
I am
period.
qualified to.
You're not qualified,
Please,
yes,
you're
thank
both
you.
out of order at this
Yeah,
time.
she's out of order, I'm recognized. So she is absolutely not qualified to make an interpretation for the public of what she said. The attorney is here to provide an interpretation to you of the law. The fact that you don't know that proves that you're not qualified. Number two, your issue with me submitting something past the deadline is your problem. It's not the public's problem. The public has a right to look at the tabulation in any form and then see. It's not about whether she gets a bonus. It's about the public having access, right? And seeing that, if that's the one thing they look at, then they have a right to see what their person, their school board member put. What you're doing by preventing it, first of all, there's no reason to prevent it.
No one's
I'm
preventing
here,
you from
hey, I'm
doing
speaking.
anything.
And if you can control
One
yourself,
has to speak over
control
you because
yourself.
you won't let anybody
Control
speak.
yourself, control yourself, and calm down. So
Now, I will not come down until
you
you
need
are
to calm
off
down.
this board.
You need to calm
To
down.
be clear.
You need to calm down. So the public, the people that you're ripping off isn't me just by not putting it on there.
It's on there. I'm
Hey,
gonna keep
calm
repeating
down.
it so
Calm
nobody
down.
thinks that you're
Calm
lying.
down.
It's on
Hey,
there.
calm down, okay? Get on medication or something. Control
I'm not the one that you're on
Control-
medication.
You're letting her speak. You're the one that's out of order. Be a chair. So the
This
bottom
meeting
line
is
is,
recessed, thank you.
Okay, just adjourn.
Ms. Corrin, do you have
I
any other
had the floor.
attorney comments?
I had the floor.
You don't have the
You
floor
can't just change it.
anymore.
I had the floor. Listen, you
You've had
can't
enough
do that.
discussion on this item, we can
Really?
adjourn
It's
this
not about
meeting
this-
at this time if you
You
would
can
like to
adjourn it,
speak
you can
over-
do whatever you want if you're chair, but you're only chair against me. You have
This
somebody
meeting
acting
is now
crazy.
adjourned.